Hi friends, this is Narendra R from Naren's Wisdom Talk. So today we are going to explore an interesting topic where there is conflict between two language, not between the two language per se, but two language divisive people who claim their own language is more older, the antiquity of the language. So which is older, Tamil or Sanskrit? So, to explore this, we need to look into the facts of the hypothesis, which is consensus among the current group of scholars. Namely, that if you take Sanskrit, it comes from Indo European languages. Indo European, Indo Iranian, and Indo Aryan languages. It at some point of time, uh, got separated from the original, whatever the source of that language is, its mother language. It got into a different and morphed into a different kind of language, and leaving the branches of other languages like Greek, Latin, Avestan. These all have the parentage, common parentage. That is what one uh, of the hypothesis floated by Mr. William Jones. He is an expert and scholar in all these Indo-European languages and Sanskrit. Sir William Jones explored this idea, and that has been the major consensus. So this has been rejected by uh, native Aryan theory people. There is no invasion of Aryans from the Central Asia. So these are some contradictory fact. We don't know what is the reality because these are very old, very antiquity to the very old level of antiquity in the history, which is just a hypothesis. Um, so in the current form of classical Vedic period, where it starts from around 1800 BC to 1500 BC, there evolved a text of Vedic Rig Veda. So, from Rig Veda, you can start this classical period along with the texts of Rig Vedas, Shastras, and other works done around this period, and right up to the 600 BC, where Panini codified this grammatical syntax and phonology, phonetics of the language, and refined it and made it into Sanskrit. The word Sanskrit means refined form of refined form of the speech, or refined form of the work is called Sam. Sam means very articulated, refined. Krita means the author or the creator, the creation of the refined form from Prakrit languages which existed, which were not so very what you call structured. From there you had this Panini's Ashtadhyayi, where he codified, as I told, these languages. So Tamil uh, was similarly had Tamil Sangam period, Tolgapyam, a grammatical extent where the scholars, some Tamil nationalists and Tamil enthusiasts put it date around first millennium AD, I mean BC, and scholars have variedly put it into 500 BC to 300 BC. So, when it comes to Sanskrit, you have Dharma Shastras and Bhagavad Gita, and you have this work of 108 Upanishads. Various other Shastras are also included, like Shilpa Shastra, which is of architecture and of sculpture, science of sculpture, uh, and Nritya Shastra by Bharatamuni, art of classical performing arts, dances, and uh, Bhautika Shastra, physics, ancient physics, and you have Jiva Shastra, biology. And there are many scholars of mathematics like Aryabhatta and Bhaskara who gave a theory of pi and square roots, and also the all important zero, which is important in today's digital world which has transformed. That was the base foundation. So any great knowledge. So that is why Voltaire, the French poet, told these Upanishads and texts represent one of the great gifts from the East. That is what he told. So from Upanishads and Mahabharata and Ramayana. Mahabharata wrote by Vedavyasa, attributed to the author of as Vedavyasa, and Valmiki to the Ramayana. So this is the longest epic you can find anywhere in the world, and is comparable to what is seen in Greece as Iliad by Homer. Then many other epics. So this Mahabharata and Ramayana had a profound influence around the Southeast Asia, from Khmer region, Khmer Cambodia, to the Javanese island, to the Syria and Japan through Buddhism. So this Sanskrit had a profound influence in the thought of people like Einstein and Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer quoted Bhagavad Gita when he detonated the first nuclear bomb in Manhattan Project. So that is a famous movie also, Hollywood movie which had come. So about that, there is a lot of influences of arts, music, tantric sex, and Kama Sutra, and so on and so forth. From then to treatise in Ayurveda by Shushruta and others, Ayurveda and Siddha medicine, medical field, to the astronomy, comparable to Ptolemy and Archimedes, what they made, Aryabhatta and others. Aryabhatta and Brahmagupta, Bhaskara contributed so much to the mathematics and physics, and their treatises like Shulva Sutra and defined mathematics in those ages. So this is some of the percepts I want to give on Sanskrit. So Sanskrit evolved, remember, from Proto-Indo-European language, Indo-Aryan, and it had separated, and it transformed into Vedic, classical Vedic era, and it had all kind of literary works like Upanishads, Vedas, four Vedas, which are very important, and Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva Vedas, vast bodies of intellectual knowledge and rituals, and all kind of Puranas and deities which are ascribed to it. So out of this there is Vedanta, that is conclusion part of it, which is 108 Upanishads. So these Upanishads are outpouring of various thoughts of human mind, ranging from agnostic view, where universe is who created the universe, like in Nasadya Suktam, where it says Na Sadasin No Sadasi Sada Nimna Sidrajo No Vyoma Paro Yat, like where the universe started, who knows, even gods came after that, there was no being and non-being, such is the statement it says. So these Vedas and Vedangas, and this is Upanishads. Upanishads therefore are very philosophical, and it has a very thought of no ritualistic connection of and Puranic connection. It has Katha Upanishad, but it says through stories the various inner aspirations of man to reach the higher goal of life in what is called as Purusharthas, four aims of life, that is Artha, Kama, Moksha and Dharma. So these four, as I told in previous episodes, you can get the link if you want. In down you can see. So these are the goals of life, and this is what moksha, and the moksha part variedly is defined in Upanishads. Upanishads deals with this, how the liberation, what are the benefits of higher thinking beyond the mundane material transactions which we do, and various kind. And you also have yoga as a great export of Indian subcontinent. Yoga is inner well-being and inner thought and inner way of meditation and fixation of mind into the ultimate reality, or going inside the mind to the peace, inner peace, through which you can realize the ultimate. That is one part. And there is yoga which is there, Upa Yoga, which is into the external well-being. What are to be done to the external well-being? The postures and asanas written by Yoga Sutra, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So this is vast, very vast to explain. And again you have Dharma Shastras, as I told, which is the legal codification of Indian society. There are 16 to 18, Manusmriti being the popular, as I told. Manusmriti talks about the classes, varnas and ordained duty, which was sometimes very rigid and very discriminatory also in some contradictory verses, which was opposed by people like B.R. Ambedkar, who drafted Indian constitution. Mahatma Gandhi had a contrary view, that it had some lofty ideals which set apart, and the contradictory parts can be rejected, like women's right and what it ordained duty is necessary duty of from teacher to janitor. This I have told in my previous video also. And the Dharma Shastras, Yajnavalkya Dharma Shastra, which competed, is not so often quoted, but it had a very wide framework and more lenient towards women's right and so on and so forth. So these laws did ancient came as an ancient legal framework. So this is the basis to those periods legal system. And coming to the mathematical part, pi, the value of pi, the square root in the Shulba Sutras, and the value of 0, which is turned into Arabic numerals, it went into Arabia. So the mathematical genius of Bhaskara and Aryabhatta were well known, and their treatises are very, very pertinent till today, and the calculations are made, trigonometry, and Archimedes, we can compare that with Archimedes of Greece. So these scientists and mathematicians and doctors like Sushruta, who was specialized in even plastic surgery, he wrote a treatise on Ayurveda also. So this is what Sanskrit is. Parallelly, Tamil was developing. Tamil's Tolkappiyam. Tolkappiyam had a very it states about Tamil grammatical etymology, phonology and phonetics, which describes Tamil's grammar, Ilakyam and Ilakkanam. There are three chapters, three adhikarams, three books, which is Sola Adhikaram, Earth Adhikaram and Porul Adhikaram. Sola Adhikaram is sound, and the what you call the phonetics, phonology, where it was deemed to be, it is said to be uh, influenced by some of the works with, as I told, Ashtadhyayi of Panini from Sanskrit grammar, and Bhashyas, Mahabhashyas from Patanjali. So that three adhikarams, which is like Sol adhikaram, as I told, is from sound and word, and Earth adhikaram is of letters, and this letters and so on and so forth. Their etymology is there in Soladhikaram, and Poriladhikaram is subject matter, where it deals with Aham and Puram. Agam and Puram. Agam means internal world of eroticness and interior world which it dwells into. Puram means external worlds about war and society. So this is what these three chapters, etymology of sound, phonetics and letters in Eruthadhikaram and Soladhikaram, and subject matter. So this is Tolkappiyam, and Tolkappiyam had some deities mentioned like Kottravai, which Tamil nationalists claim as a separate goddesses. She is a goddesses, Bhagavati, and they claim that is separate god. There is nothing like that. For example, in Maharashtra you have Kandoba. He is a local deity ascribed as Shiva, but he doesn't have the great mention, to my knowledge, in Vedic texts. There are many local deities not only in Tamil Nadu but across India, which is a folklore deity, but it is somewhere ascribed to the Vedic deities and their forms and their characters. So this is there in Tolkappiyam. And coming to the Tirukural, one of the greatest works in Tamil, it is 130 chapter. Tirukural is 1330 couplets, divided chapters is 133, so 10 couplets, so 1330. So it is divided into three books: Inbam, Aram, Pur, same as Artha, Kama, Moksha, Dharma in Vedas. What is the Purusharthas of life? Inbam is Kama, Aram is Dharma, and Pur is economics, prosperity. So book of love, the prosperity, and Dharma, what is the duty. So these are mentioned in Tirukural by Thiruvalvar. It is one of the greatest circulated Tamil literature anywhere in the world, and some of the greatest saying it deals with is how society functions and what are the duties of son to mother and father, etc., and so on and so forth. ஈன்ற போதும் பெருதுவக்கு தன் மகனை சான்றோர் என கேட்ட தாய். That means the mother is happy more than the birth of the son when he grows up and he is praised by the society for his intellect or the good deeds. Agara mudala ezhuthellam Adi Bhagavan mudatrey ulal. Again, you have another this one. So these are some examples. So there again you have intertwining of these languages. So this is what I conclude by this. You have Inbam, Aram, Purul, same as Moksha, Purusharthas. The Moksha part is there in first book itself, that is Aram, somewhat. So Tiruvalvar is some kind of a secular person of Jain or Shramana influences somewhere on non-theistic and also some Hindu's view of theistic. There is some intertwining of his thoughts. Not clear what his thought background was. So there I conclude by saying Both these languages have extreme antiquity. How do you judge? You judge these two languages by if you judge by the attestation, Sanskrit has older age, Rigveda of 1500 BC, whereas Tolkappiyam is 500 BC or somewhere. Tamil Sangam period is that area, that time. So this is what is attestation. If you look at the way of measuring the antiquity of the language, but that aside, you cannot decide, because by attestation, before that you have oral traditions. So these language must have been in the oral traditions. They separated from their unknown mother's language source, and they should have had oral tradition. They evolved from there. So it is impossible to know which is older. Rather, you should dwell on their rich character, what are the contributions, and what they have done to the benefit of humanity, both the languages. This is what I would suggest to certain nationalists like Tamil nationalists like Parisalan, and some people who claim from Sanskrit, like Russia was Sanskritized, like Russia is the land of rishis. Russia, the word terminology came from the etymology of the Russian term comes from the land of Rus. Rus were the Viking warriors. So these are all misconceptions. Again, Kumarikandam, another thought which is floated by American and British scholars. Lemuria continent, which is shown by or taken over by Tamil revivalists as Kumarikandam, where Tamils lived there 1 million years ago or to 10,000 years ago. So these are all narratives which doesn't have significant proper backing. So there are many things. Even in some some of the YouTubers say that Khalistan, the word of Punjab, Khali means some dark, or it is empty in Tamil, and Stan is a Sanskrit word. It's a mixture, which is ridiculous. Khalistan comes from Khalsa, one of the traditions followed by Sikhs by their Guru Gobind. Come on, how can you float such a theories? This is ridiculous. So both sides, I just request you to dwell on your realities. The reality is your language is anyway great. So you do not claim any extreme theories which are not proven. So both languages have their history evolving from classicals, whether it is Tolkappiyam or Rigvedas, Ashtadhyayi of Panini, or the great Tirukural, or the Bhagavad Gita, which comes in the Bhishma Parva with 18 chapters, which are inspiration, or heterodox thoughts of Buddhist texts of Nagarjuna and Mahayana Buddhism. These are all great works of both languages. So I, for one, believe both are necessary, along with other languages who too had, like Kannada had Sarvagna and Pampa and Ranna. Telugu had Vemana as their poet, great poet, and they have their own literature. But Tamil had somewhat greater extent of what is their literature, which is somewhat comparable to Sanskrit also. So Sanskrit and Tamil both are great languages. So are other languages in their own rights. So why do you discriminate? It's not at all required. I salute to both the languages. I respect. So each language brings their own unique and greatness to the humanity. Like Kalidas Abbar, great poet, like Kumar Sambhavam, Abhijnana Shakuntalam, And uh, this Banabhatta wrote Kadambari, one of the first novels in the world, and Harsha Charitra, the biography of King Harsha. So these are all great things like Vemana, Pampa, Ranna, all of them from Kannada and Telugu. You have Vemana. So I repeat, I would say it is not Tamil versus Sanskrit. It is Tamil and Sanskrit. So I want to finish by few words here. 6th century BC poet Kanyan Pungundunar said, and I quote, Yadumure Yavarum Keli, which means whole world is my home and all are my kith and kin. Similarly, in Sanskrit you have the same saying, similar verse. Vasudevaka Kutumbakam, entire world is my family, all are my relatives. In a more spiritual way, in Annapurna Sutram, Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam is a word which is mentioned, which means entire cosmos is my home and I am just a part of it. So with this, I would like to take a bow and sign off until we see you in the next chapter. Bye.